Well, hello. You are hiking with Jenny. It is day 28. I'm just leaving Jerry Cabin Shelter. And today I am getting picked up by Brian. I think I'm going to hike down just 9 miles to the Devil's Fork Gap today. I thought about doing the next gap, which would have been Sam's Gap, but that would have been an 18-mile day and 4,000 feet elevation. So I don't think I'm ready to do that combination of things quite yet. Plus I had a really bad day yesterday and I didn't want to push the big miles right after a bad day. Kind of wanted to take it easier and just take care of myself today. Yesterday I got to camp I don't know, 6:30 or so, and I saw that the fire was going in the shelter because there was a fireplace in that one, which is kind of rare to have in a shelter. So I was like, oh good, because I was freezing. That was the first day just hiking where I was just couldn't get warm. So I got in there, sat by the fire, and there was room in the shelter. People were encouraging me, and it was very, very windy. So setting up my hammock in that wasn't appealing at the time. So I tried to sleep in the shelter, and what I did was I laid down my hammock sock with the hammock and underquilt and everything in it, put my 1/8 inch foam pad over that, and laid on top of that with my top quilt over me. It got below freezing and I was shivering, and there was no way I was going to be able to sleep because I was cold. So I ended up getting up and I found a spot that was sort of on the trail down to the privy that was out of the wind. So I was able to set up there and got in and got warm, and I was able to sleep after that. But it was still a little chilly. And I think part of that is because my underquilt was slightly damp from the night before, because my the sock had gotten damp because the wind the night before had kept blowing. The line locks would loosen on my tarp, and so the tarp would loosen up, which then the tarp would stick to the sock and the sock got wet. So everything just kind of permeated from there. Today the elevation doesn't look bad at all. It's going to be mostly downhill. When I was in Asheville, we went to this arts and crafts thing, which I have talked about, and I bought these wooden dice. I bought 3 of them. Somebody made. I bought one for each of us, me, 2020, and Lone Star, as a symbol of our tramley. Even though we're not really hiking together, it's Dungeons and Distances forever. And I gave Lone Star his already. I don't know if I'm going to see 2020 again, but I'm going to carry his die to Katahdin and then figure out a way to get it to him. I thought it was really sweet today. Lone Star said he was going to carry his to Katahdin as well. So I think that's really awesome. Even though we're not technically hiking together, we're probably not going to finish together, symbolically we will. I guess that's not the only thing that I'm carrying that's kind of symbolic of a friendship. You may have seen in Bluebird and Blaze's video, Maddie bought a sponge and she cut it into thirds, and she kept a third and put the others in the hiker box. But Bluebird and I had the idea oh, we can use the other ones. And even though I didn't really need a sponge, I like the idea of each carrying a third of that sponge to represent the friendships that we made that night. So I have a third of the sponge. I've probably used it once. It just makes me smile to carry it. It doesn't really weigh much, but it's almost you know, those best friend necklaces. If you had it all in one piece, it would say best friends, but they cut it into thirds. so that each person can wear one. And they make ones that are pairs too. But that's what that reminded me of. If you put them together, they would be a full sponge again. I don't know, you just meet certain people that leave an impression on you, and it's just cool to carry something of them to always remind you. Oh, another exciting thing that's happening today. We are climbing up Big Butt. It was funny because we've been joking about it this entire time because we could see it from like some of the viewpoints along the way, and now I'm finally climbing it. What's wild to me is that, so when I first started the trail, I flew into Atlanta, and it was about an hour drive, I think, from there to, no, it was like an hour and a half to the Emma Visitor Center. Brian is flying into Atlanta again today, and it's a 4-hour drive. And it's wild to me that, like, with all the walking I've done over the past 4 weeks, it's still just a 2.5-hour drive. Oh gosh. Atlanta is not the closest airport to here, but that's what he got because there's more times available to fly into Atlanta because it's like a hub. So he was able to get an earlier time if you flew into Atlanta. Brian said that he just got to Atlanta, so he is a little more than 4 hours from getting me, which is crazy because it's probably going to take me about that long to hike down a Devil's Fork Gap in about 8 miles. So you've heard of Taylor the New Hampshire hiker. Last night there was a guy at the shelter named Tyler the New Hampshire hiker, and he is also from New Hampshire, obviously, but I was talking to him for a while because, I mean, he lives like an hour from me or something, and I was saying how, like, it's such a small world. It's like you come all this way and then you meet people that like live an hour away from you. So I don't know, a lot of people hike the trail that are from New Hampshire, probably because a lot of people that live in New Hampshire like to hike. Whoa. I just ran into 2 people, and from the looks of their packs, I thought that they were day hikers. They asked when I started, and I told them, 4 weeks ago. And they were like, after 4 weeks, we were still in Maine. And I was like, oh, you did it southbound? And he's like, yeah, we're southbound. And I looked at their packs, and they had the purple 2023 tags from last year. So they started last year and they haven't finished yet. Huh. They had to have started in the fall or something. I don't know. Wow, that's so wild. I didn't think that I'd still see southbounders. Walking along the AT, you see a lot of graves. And unlike Oregon Trail, these aren't people that died on the trail. These are people that hiked the trail, died later on, and then, I guess, wanted to be buried here. In this case, I want to know, is Howard Bassett a man with a sense of humor? That he said, I want you to bury me on Big Butt. But I guess it just goes to show how important the AT is to a lot of people that, they might hike it at one point in their lives and that leaves such a lasting impression that they're like, nope, that's where I want to be buried. Wow. Rounded a corner, what do I see? Big Butt bypass. We're not going to bypass it though. We're going to climb that Big Butt. We actually have a beautiful day today with views. Who put all these rocks in the trail? This would have sucked in the rain last night. I guess that was Big Butt. Still kind of just like views to the trees. Nice up here. I can see why there's a bypass because of those rocks. check out this view. Oh, whoa. This looks like a good place to take a little break. If I can find a nice place to sit down, maybe in the grass over there. It's like all suburban. And then we're like looking down on it. It's so cool. I'm having my favorite snack while I enjoy this view. This is a chocolate honey stinger waffle with peanut butter on it, and it tastes like a peanut butter cup. It is so good. I was just thinking about this. I hiked 16 miles yesterday, and despite it being, you know, it was a crappy day all around, you know, it was rainy and windy and gross, and I felt gross. And when I ended my hike, the one thing I wasn't was sore. And that's actually, well, now that I'm thinking about it, that's pretty huge. Because like previously when I'd hiked 16 miles in a day, even if it was a slack pack, I was sore. And no, I wasn't. I was just freaking cold. So I think that's maybe telling me I'm going to be ready to do some bigger mile days. I'm not going to jump to like doing 20s or whatever, but if I could do the 16 or 18 every now and then, I think I could manage that fine. I don't want to do that every day yet, but every now and then I think I can swing it. I just wish I could hike faster, particularly on the uphills. I don't know what it is. I've just never been able to increase my speed. Downhills and straight, I think is fine, but it's the going up that, I don't know, I just can't seem to get my body to go fast. Beautiful day today. It's 63 degrees. Sun's out. What a contrast from yesterday. I've got about 2 miles left to get to Devil's Fort Gap, and I'm going to get picked up and enjoy the day with Brian.
I miss staying in DoubleTrees. We don't stay at any.
Brian has really hyped up these cookies. We'll see how good they are. That's pretty good. This is what my liquid IV resupply looks like. This is about a 2-week supply, and I do drink them all. I drink a lot of liquid IV. I got my food resupply, thanks to Brian, keeping it to 4 days of food. So I have 4 dinners, 4 breakfasts, although I had some extra oatmeal. So that's probably more like 6 breakfasts right there. And then approximately 4 lunches with a bunch of snacks. And Brian brought me a couple extra steaks, so I'm back up to 5 now. The 4 I need plus an extra. There's a big sign. Oh, this is cute. Where was the state of Franklin?
Here. Just northeast corner of Tennessee.
Huh.
Let's see. Here it is.
To something. Franklin, state of Franklin?
State of Franklin.
State of Franklin. Woo!
I mean, they are garlic garlic fries.
Garlic Parmesan fries.
So there's a sign down there that says library, data web.
You're smart.
Just park that. Library.
Look at that elephant. Oh, they hung an elephant here.
Good, it probably deserved it.
Yeah, I hear the elephant had it coming.
Degenerates.
I wouldn't mind checking out the outdoor store.
Okay, yeah.
What? It's supposed to be who is?
There it is.
Yacht Club. Brian is an exclusive member of the Yacht Club. Oh, we're back here again. Well, in true fashion, I was having so much fun. I didn't record much that night, but we walked around the Arts District in Asheville again. We got to check out a lot more than I'd gotten to check out the first time I went. And after that, we had dinner at Tupelo Honey, and then we drove back to the hotel and we went to this retro arcade, which was super fun. I beat Brian at a few games of Pong, which was awesome. And then we went back to the hotel and we had a couple beers and we played some card games, and it was just such a fun day. We really crammed in everything that we love to do. We crammed into that visit, and it was just so awesome, and it was so great to see him and just spend that quality time together. Unfortunately, he could only stay for less than 2 days before he had to get back, but I'm so excited for our next visit together, and we'll be together again before too long. So thank you for watching, and happy trails.